If you carry the letter M or the crescent moon in your hands, listen closely because this message was created especially for you. There is a hidden truth, a truth that no one has ever told you, and it begins in the simplest and most ignored part of your day, in what you eat at every meal. What enters your body may be silently destroying your connection with the divine, dimming your spiritual sensitivity, and blocking the purpose for which you were chosen. While many around you eat without worry, you feel something different, a heaviness, a strange discomfort after certain meals, as if your body, the sacred temple of your soul, were trying to tell you something. And you ask yourself why, despite sincere prayer, deep meditation, and a genuine desire to serve the divine plan, your intuition seems to fail, your manifestations are blocked, and the gifts you know you carry within still remain latent. The answer lies on your plate. Yes, certain foods have been intentionally altered to prevent the chosen ones from fully awakening. They block your energy field, lower your vibration, and erect an invisible wall between you and your higher self. And if you carry the spiritual seals of the letter M or the crescent moon in your hands, the impact is even deeper. For centuries, powerful entities worked to hide this secret, but now the truth will be revealed to those who have eyes to see and hands that bear the signs of awakening. But before we continue, I invite you to activate the energy of this revelation. Type the number 555 in the comments below. That number carries the spiritual code of completeness, fulfillment, and activation. By writing 555, you declare to the universe that you are ready to receive and live your calling. And if you are not yet part of this community, subscribe to the channel immediately. Every day, we are here to guide you along this path of light, consciousness, and purpose. Now breathe deeply, keep an open mind, and prepare yourself, because what comes next may change your life forever. Have you noticed that something has changed within you since you discovered the letter M or the crescent moon in your hands? Perhaps you cannot explain it exactly, but you feel that a new phase has begun. An inner restlessness, more vivid dreams, an intuition that starts to whisper more forcefully. This is not mere imagination. It is the sign of spiritual activation in action. These marks are not just physical details. They are ancient spiritual codes imprinted on your body even before you were born. When you become aware that you carry them and begin to pay attention, energy portals open around you and within you, as if your soul were starting to remember who it truly is and why it came to Earth. However, along with this activation comes a phase of silent conflict. Your body, which for so long has been conditioned by eating habits that suffocate spirituality, begins to go into shock. Suddenly, foods that before seemed normal cause discomfort, insomnia, and inexplicable fatigue. You feel it, even if no one around you understands. This happens because when your marks are activated, your vibrational field rises and certain foods, previously harmless, become real blockers. They no longer align with your new frequency, acting like subtle chains that hinder your connection with your guides, your mission, and the revelations that the heavens wish to deliver to you. The good news is that your body speaks to you more clearly than ever before. If you listen and respond, what follows will be the greatest transformation of your spiritual life. When the spiritual marks, the letter M and the crescent moon, are activated, something invisible yet extremely real begins to happen. It is as if your soul starts to emit a signal of light, recognized not only by the heavens but also by the forces that work against the chosen ones. From that moment on, your body becomes a battlefield, and the war, though silent, is devastating. You feel inexplicable fatigue, difficulty concentrating on your spiritual practices, blockages in your intuition, and even a drop in energy during the day. This occurs because your spiritual channels are being sabotaged by what you put into your body. Yes, the foods you consume every day have become the most effective weapon against the expansion of your consciousness. For most people, those foods are merely food. But for you, who bears the marks, they function as energetic anchors, preventing your soul from rising, your gifts from manifesting, and your divine calling from being fulfilled. Your body, now attuned to higher frequencies, rejects that which is not in harmony with the heavens. That is why discomfort arises, why insomnia plagues you, why you feel spiritually drained. This battle is not random. It was orchestrated many thousands of years ago by those who fear the awakening of the marked. They know that when a chosen one reconnects with his true spiritual identity, he becomes uncontrollable, free, and dangerous to the system. For that reason, They created subtle methods to imprison them, and corrupted food is one of the most effective means. But here is the truth that must be told. You can win this war, and it all begins on your plate. Have you ever wondered why, despite sincere prayers, deep meditations, and a genuine desire to serve the divine plan, you still feel that something blocks your connection with the higher realms? The answer may lie in what you eat. Yes, in the bread you bought yesterday, in the milk you took at breakfast, in the meat you consumed without thinking. Foods that, to common eyes, seem normal, but for the chosen marked ones, act like invisible veils covering the third eye, diminishing the brightness of your spiritual vision. Your third eye, the center of inner vision, intuition, and subtle perception, becomes extremely sensitive after the activation of the letter M and the crescent moon. It is like a newly boosted antenna that begins to capture vibrations and messages that previously went unnoticed. But when you consume certain corrupted foods, that antenna suffers interference. The signal weakens, clarity disappears, and what should be a direct channel to the heavens turns into nothing more than a muffled echo. Modified grains, hormone-laden milk, meat saturated with suffering. These all create an energetic fog around your third eye. Your spiritual vision begins to fail. Your intuition goes quiet, your ability to perceive signs diminishes, and you start to doubt yourself, while the connection with your higher self, once so vivid, becomes only a distant memory. But this is not your fault. The world was designed for you to forget who you truly are, to bury your gifts under refined sugar, adulterated wheat, and foods that vibrate at the frequency of fear. And all this goes unnoticed because no one speaks about the spiritual impact of food. But today you know, and now you can consciously choose to protect your temple, the body that houses the chosen one that you are. Liberation begins with awareness, and the restoration of your third eye starts in the silence of your daily choices. If you carry the sacred symbols, the letter M and the crescent moon, in your hands, know that there is a war being waged inside of you, even if it is silent. And it is not a symbolic war, it is literal, an energetic battle that occurs with every meal, with every bite, with every food you choose. For the body of the chosen one is not like the others. It is a direct channel to the spiritual realm, a sanctuary, an instrument of divine manifestation, and for that very reason, it is the primary target of interference. Few understand or prefer to ignore that a sophisticated manipulation is underway, carefully designed to block the gifts of those who came into this world with a calling. Foods that seem harmless are loaded with vibrational codes that cancel out spiritual sensitivity, especially for those with gifts of vision, hearing, or healing. Processed foods, genetically modified products, or anything impregnated with animal suffering become traps for the awakened soul. Have you noticed that after certain meals your body feels heavier, your mind clouds over, your faith weakens, and your connection to the divine becomes distant? It is not merely fatigue or distraction. It is a silent, energetic attack disguised as an eating habit. The chosen cannot afford to ignore this, because while others eat and remain asleep, you feel every impact, every energy that enters you. Food becomes either a prayer or a prison. That is why so many marked ones report an inner call to change their diet, an inexplicable aversion to certain foods, a deep sense that what once served them no longer does. This is not caprice. It is your body crying out. We are at war, and you need to align yourself with the light. Liberation begins on the plate. The body of the chosen one must vibrate with both the earth and the heavens at the same time, and for that it must be free of that which contaminates it from within. We have reached the most sensitive point of this revelation. Which foods are sabotaging the spiritual mission of the chosen ones? If you feel that despite your efforts, your visions are no longer as clear, that your intuition fails at decisive moments, or that your energy fluctuates without explanation, this may be the reason. The foods that most people naturally consume, even with pleasure, are actually acting as dense filters, extinguishing the divine flame that burns within you. The first group includes ultra-processed foods with synthetic additives and preservatives. For the common world, they are merely convenient. But for you, a chosen one who bears the mark of the letter M or the crescent moon, they function as silent poison. Spiritual studies conducted through revelations show something unsettling. After consuming these compounds, an energetic fog appears around the pineal gland in the crown chakra, blocking the reception of messages from the higher plane for up to 72 hours. It is as if a veil of darkness settles precisely over the centers responsible for connecting your being with your higher self. The second critical food is the meat of animals that have lived in suffering. It is not only a matter of health or ethics, but a direct transfer of vibrational energy. Animals that spent their entire lives in panic, anguish, and despair registered every second of that trauma in their cells. When you, who carry a high and sensitive vibration, consume that meat, you also end up absorbing that density, generating deep blockages in the heart chakra and the solar plexus, energetic centers responsible for manifesting your mission and for nurturing the inner voice that guides your steps. The third spiritual saboteur is modern gluten, genetically modified and stripped of its original vibration. The energy of ancient grains was nourishing and neutral, but today's grains carry a heavy and dense energy that, for ordinary people, only causes digestive discomfort. For you, it causes something much more serious, an energetic fog over the third eye that distorts spiritual perceptions, clouds the clarity of intuition, and blocks the flow of the gifts that should be fully awakened. The fourth item is conventional milk and its derivatives, sourced from animals subjected to hormonal treatments and artificial conditions. This type of food creates a kind of subtle, energetic mucus, visible to those with auric vision, that coats the chakras with an invisible film, hindering the integration of divine energy. The most affected is the thymus, the gland of love, faith, and spiritual protection. When this center is suffocated, you become vulnerable to spiritual attacks, lose emotional clarity, and struggle to anchor unconditional love. And finally, there are foods with vibrational frequencies altered artificially. At first glance, they seem normal, but internally, they are laden with subtle distortions, imperceptible to the naked eye, yet deeply aggressive to the energetic field of the chosen one. When ingested, they cause a severe phenomenon, the inversion of auric polarity. This means that your energy field begins to spin in the opposite direction of its natural flow, making it impossible to align with higher frequencies. The sensation is as if you were constantly fighting against an invisible force, even though you are spiritually aligned. These 5 groups of foods not only unbalance your body, but they also silence your gifts, block your mission, and erase the memory of your divine origin. But here is the good news: liberation is possible. And when it begins, something extraordinary happens. Imagine shedding the weight of an invisible armor that you have been carrying without knowing it. Visualize, for the first time in years, your body, mind, and spirit breathing in unison. That is what happens when a chosen one starts to eliminate the foods that block their divine gifts. But what follows is not just physical improvement. It is a quantum reaction of complete realignment with your celestial purpose. The first energetic impact. In just a few days of abstaining from these sabotaging foods, your subtle channels begin to unlock, and the spiritual messages that once seemed murky return with astonishing clarity. Those chosen ones who carry the letter M or the crescent moon in their hands frequently describe the feeling of finally reconnecting with themselves, as if a long-forgotten presence had returned. The pineal gland, once covered by dense layers, begins to pulsate again, emitting flashes of light during meditation, provoking spontaneous visions, spiritual awe, and dreams featuring celestial figures, including the Archangel Michael. Some even describe it as if an inner light were ignited at the center of the forehead, highlighting the power of the third eye, often physically manifested as a subtle pressure or sacred warmth in that region. The heart chakra, once freed from the energy of fear and suffering derived from contaminated meats and dairy, starts to expand. And what does that mean? It means that empathy transforms into healing, self-love becomes a shield, and compassion begins to generate miracles around you. Many report the ability to transmit warmth through their hands, and over time, the energy concentrates until it feels like a pulsating magnetic field between the palms. And it does not stop there. The clarity of your mission intensifies. That persistent feeling that you were born for something grand transforms into action. Old projects begin to flow. Decisions that once seemed stuck finally move forward. The universe starts to cooperate with astonishing fluidity. Synchronicities intensify. Key people cross your path, and doors that once seemed closed now open gracefully. There is a natural return to your true essence. The body, now lighter, becomes a finely tuned vehicle for divine light, and you realize something grand. You have always had the gifts. You have always been a channel. You have always been connected. It was only the interferences, dietary, energetic, spiritual, that were blocking your potential, but now, finally, you are clearing those channels and stepping into your rightful place. This is the quantum reaction of liberation. It is not theory, it is experience, it is transformation. It is the beginning of what we call true ascension. Have you ever wondered why some people can eat anything, sleep deeply, and live as if nothing affects them, while you, who carry the letter M or the crescent moon in your hands, feel every small imbalance as if an energetic bomb were inside you? The answer lies in your spiritual design. The chosen ones were not created to operate on the same fuel as the rest of humanity. Your body, mind, and soul function like a finely calibrated instrument to capture higher vibrations, subtle messages from the divine realm, visions of the future, and callings that few can perceive. Those signs in your hands are not merely marks. They are cosmic codes imprinted on your flesh, revealing your origin and mission. And for that reason, that which appears harmless to others becomes a spiritual poison for you. Processed foods dense with animal suffering or energetically modified act as vibrational barriers in your system, creating blockages so deep they can completely silence your gifts. Have you noticed how your intuition tends to fail exactly when you need it most? Or how after certain meals you feel drowsy, sad, irritable, or even empty? This is not merely digestion, it is spiritual. It is your sacred body trying to defend itself. It recognizes the vibrational dissonance of these foods and enters a state of alert, of defense. The letter M in your hand is not there by chance. It represents spiritual memory, mission, and an awakened mind. The crescent moon, in turn, symbolizes the connection with the invisible, the cycle of revelations, the light emerging in the darkness. Both are spiritual marks that indicate you bear an energy that must be preserved. And preserving that energy means eliminating everything that contaminates it. Here is the stark truth. Modified, industrialized foods impregnated with suffering were not created for you. They were designed to neutralize you, to make your light tolerable to a system that profits from darkness. The world does not want you to awaken, but the good news is that you have already begun that awakening. The very fact that you are reading these words confirms that your spirit is responding, that your marks are pulsating. You have been activated. Now it is your turn to act. Now that you know the truth, there is no turning back. You are not ordinary. Your body, your soul, and your marks, the letter M and the crescent moon in your hands, carry a unique spiritual signature. You were born with a divine mission, and that mission requires clarity, strength, and a direct connection with higher dimensions. But for that to fully manifest, you must liberate yourself from the invisible chains imposed by corrupted foods. Every choice you make at the table is not merely a dietary decision, but an energetic pact, a yes or a no to your purpose, a silent affirmation of ascension or stagnation. When you ingest foods loaded with suffering, genetic modifications, or distorted vibrational frequencies, you are not only compromising your physical body, you are dimming your spiritual channel, distancing yourself from the heaven that already pulses within you. The good news is that everything can be transformed. By eliminating the 5 groups of foods that block the spiritual channels of the chosen ones, you will begin to notice almost immediate changes. Your intuition returns with strength. Dreams transform once more into messages. Synchronicities intensify. Energy begins to flow, and your inner silence reveals the answers you have been waiting for all your life. You will start to feel peace, purpose, clarity, and above all, presence for that which has always been hidden beneath layers of distraction, fear, and interference finally begins to emerge. You, your essence, and your mission. This is your moment. Take care of your body as one would clean a sacred temple. Honor your marks as one who holds celestial keys. Choose that which elevates you. Align your vibration with the energy that comes from the light. When a chosen one acts with consciousness, the universe responds, organizes itself, and expands through them. If you bear the mark of the letter M or the crescent moon in your hands, let it serve as a constant reminder. You were chosen, marked to remember, and now you are being activated to manifest. The world does not need more distractions. It needs your awakened presence, your elevated vibration, your yes. Therefore, I invite you now to seal this activation. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and leave a comment with the number 555, the number of spiritual completeness, of mission activation. By commenting, you not only confirm your identity, but you send a message to the universe. I am ready. And remember, You have not been forgotten. You were prepared, and now you are being called.